It's just insane. Apparently, they're enforcing their TOS in an unequal fashion, which should surprise no one because streamers always get a cop out. It is what it is, man. What can you do about it, right? So I just watched the first 2 minutes of this video. I really like this guy content, and I want to hear the rest.
What's up, amigos? I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the terms of service when it comes to Blizzard and how I feel that the TOS needs to be fixed in the future of World of Warcraft, in my personal
No, it needs to fix now. It needs to be fixed now, not the future. Now. Tomorrow.
opinion. I'm a little simple.
No, not tomorrow. Yesterday.
Hydration Nation here. We'll talk about it in a second. I know you guys have already seen the thousands of videos of Payo at this point. The clips, the whole trade-to-trade internal GDKP bid that he had with one individual person. Obviously, not everyone's going to call it GDKP because it wasn't for the whole raid, but it was a GDKP between a person and another individual.
So in case you guys not understanding what he's saying here, basically GDKP is now banned in the TBC, and people, what they're doing, of course, as humans always do, they found a loophole. And now people are abusing it. It is what it is. A few people have been caught, but nobody really cares whatsoever.
Hey, I'll give you it for 5k gold. You don't want 5k? How about 6k gold? Not 6k? How about 7k gold? Sold. You know what I mean? So it was just an internal one-to-one face-to-face trade without the G2G added on behind it. Which, who knows where that gold came from, in fairness, from Payo's end. But that's either here or there. I won't make any claim. I think the TOS, in general, has always been kind of scuffed on Blizzard's end. Now, I think Blizzard, when they have a W, I'll always compliment them on a W. I think the arena change that they made recently, very good change. No problems with that. But when it comes to the TOS, this has been something that has been an issue since the beginning of TBC. And I think we all remember, friends, when it comes to the tank crisis that happened, tanks were complaining. What is allowed? What's not allowed? Can I sell my services? The economy's expensive. Buying all these consumables for heroic dungeons, which are 10x harder than the raids. To this,
imagine just having fun inside of an MMORPG. Imagine going into an MMORPG thinking, am I allowed to do something or not? Like, on a basic level, can't you see how insane that is? That is the most outlandish garbage I've ever heard in my life. Why do you need to know certain rules to, like, play a video game? Like, isn't that crazy? On a very basic level. Fun, disgusting, exactly. Where it's just mind-boggling for me to see. Why do I need to play a video game constantly think there's a cloud above my head about to zap me like the dog shocker? It's absolutely wild. Like, I don't get it. I truly don't get it.
I still think the heroic dungeons, some heroic dungeons, are harder than SSC and TK in my opinion, which is crazy. But I just think it's funny that the TOS was complained about then, and now the TOS is getting looked at again at this current moment on what is deemed right by the community. Because the community 1 week will tell you, oh, what Payo did is completely fine. It's no problem. But then another streamer it happens to, or another person, and then all of a sudden there's a 5k Reddit post calling this dude's mom a hoe. Rightfully so. But
that's the problem. Their Reddit post. You should not pay attention to Reddit whatsoever. The only solution for developers to use is look at what people are writing and, express their frustration, but never listen to their solutions. Because the community doesn't know what it's like to actually be behind the scenes and how to actually take care of a problem. All they like to do is complain and give out solutions that would benefit them. So what you need to do is just take all of the opinions, crisscross everything, like cross information, and reach a solution by yourself. That's the best way to solve it. Now, the problem with Blizzard is that they're too infatuated with reading Reddit and all the woke stuff and all that garbage. They couldn't bother to come up with a solution because they're too busy fridge raiding. Now, that's an issue that has been long going inside of Blizzard HQ. That and cube crawling, of course, let's not forget about that. So you really just start to ask yourself a question. When the hell they're going to wake up and do something? And the answer is never. Why? Because Blizzard is somehow still the king.
Outside of that, you get what I'm saying? It's very flip-flop on how the community feels. 1 week it's fine, it's holier than holy. The other week it's evil and down with the devil, The community flip-flops a lot when it comes to these type of discussions. But I kind of want to ride that ball of energy down the middle and talking about why I feel Blizzard needs to really just revitalize and re-edit and hyper detail what is important for players to know come in the future of World of Warcraft, no matter what. GDKPs are not allowed, fine. You can only do this type of loot system, fine. But the bending of rules needs to stop. And that's where the players come into the part, because that's more of the players' fault, because the players...
So just implement all of this by yourself. Just make a loot system that you think is the best and make it unequivocally all across the board just the mainstay thing. It's that simple. If you don't like people going alternative routes, fine. Even though I would not understand why you would interfere with like player decisions like that. But sure, if you want to make a loot system, so make a loot system. And make it stick forever, and that's it. Like, why do you give even players the choice for a loophole? You gave them that choice to use that loophole because you're refusing to fix it. So it's Blizzard issue once again. I don't even blame the players. It's all on them.
Players look for ways to bend the rules. They look at your TOS.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You see?
And rightfully so. This is no difference than like a person, finding ways to exploit the game. Henceforth, like people like back in the day in like FPS games like Tfue. Tfue was always like an exploiter who knew how to take advantage of something.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
And then Fortnite had to fix it, right? Or other games. He did the same thing in Arc Raiders as well, and now he's living on a boat somewhere. But that's basically what he did. And this is what your community is going to do too, rightfully so. Because if they see your TOS and they say, oh, is that it? Interesting. Well, we can find a way to bend those rules.
Yep.
We're gonna do it. Now that's a player problem, but that's also you as a developer to take care of that problem. So now that problem of what they created becomes your problem too.
Exactly.
It's equally shared there, in my opinion. And I think when it comes to the whole tank stuff,
absolutely, players would always optimize the fun out of the game. 100%. They will always find a loophole. They will always find chinks in your armor, and it's on you to fix that. On you.
People reporting tanks. Well, you're not using the services tab. You got to use the services tab, but that still won't stop people from reporting you if they feel like they want to be a dickhead that day. And tanks obviously had it pretty rough, I won't deny. You have to pay for all that plate repair gear, especially if you're a warrior or paladin. Very costly. But the TOS was great then. And then we had the mage, nerfs.
Mage boosting, yeah.
Dungeon boosting was not allowed. And people are getting reported, is that against TOS? What's going on with this? And then they reverted those type of changes, and now mages can sell their services. As long as people put it into the service tab, you join the channel, because you could join the channel if you guys don't know that. Right-click the stuff on, your UI when it comes to the chat tab and join the channel services and stuff.
But also on that point, like, botting is the major issue. I think he's going to avoid speaking about that, but bots mass reporting people randomly for no reason whatsoever, it's a ginormous issue. I don't know if he's going to touch on that or not, though.
At that point, it was very conflicting, very confusing. And I find what's funny is that warlocks that never got hit with a TOS or any type of services issue, reportable stuff, they've always been just in the gray area. Now, maybe it's because of the TBC experience with, summoning portals and all this stuff. But warlocks have just been in the gray zone very quiet lately from the warlock community, I must say. But now you fast forward into current day situations. And we look at this TOS, and we look at GDKP, for example. I don't even want to be that guy. That's more of Hammer Dance's, that's his gig, that's his shtick. Shout out to the boy. But I will say this, GDKP's really where people say, oh, it's gone, it's completely, not a thing anymore in TBC.
It's not gone, it just went
false.
underground.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
You look at the Payo example, and you see how
they turned the game into Fight Club.
He got gold, maybe from his community, whether that was legal gold or not.
The first rule of GDKP, we don't talk about GDKP.
External source, good old G2G gold or not, no idea. But I will say, he got that gold, he buys an item, high ticket price item. Now let me ask you guys a question. What's to stop a GM from selling nether vortexes pre-raid to his Discord, or even selling any items in the raid pre-raid to his Discord, writing it out in Discord, because you're not allowed to write it in game because it's bannable, right? Completely reportable. So you can take that person and pack them up 100%. Rightfully so, because to Blizzard, you're not allowed to do GDKPs anymore. But in Discord, you could write this all out, coordinate with your friends, orchestrate, this type of system, use the guild bank, which is not catchable because it just looks like everybody's just donating to a healthy guild bank.
Money laundering.
Raid, start handing out items. Start giving out items. You're not going to get cash doing that. It's just going to look like people are just trading items.
Hey, you know what? The more that I think about it, it's actually kind of dope. It's like they're turning WoW Classic into Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. I mean, that's kind of cool, no? I mean, they're innovating. I like that.
And you can even make comms about it in the game, saying, "Oh, don't worry, we're just going to give it to this X."
Blizzard
person,"
is like
but
the
then you fake
government.
it and give it to another, because you orchestrated everything in a Discord, and everybody already put all the money into the guild bank, which is the loophole of the terms of service. The G bank is the ultimate loophole of the Burning Crusade of the terms of service. It's the perfect way to use the Trojan horse to still do GDKPs in the Burning Crusade. They never left, and I'm willing to bet you my entire checking account, which is mainly just for Taco Bell today. Outside of that, personal reasons, I feel that this is something that Blizzard totally overlooks, and it's so obvious that it still happens. On Anniversary and Classic, they do this with Black Lotus GDKPs. This is something that's been happening for so long, and it's obvious more than ever. And the community knows this, and it's completely obvious at this point. So what makes you think that GDKPs are gone or erased? If we have one person doing one internal privatized GDKP, call it what you want, say, oh, it was just a person selling their SR, it was just a person selling to the highest individual bidder who wanted to bid a certain amount of gold, but then they wanted to bid more gold, then wanted to bid more gold than that, just to see if they could really, lock in that item. It's not called a GDKP in some people's eyes, but obviously we know the truth, guys. Let's not be stupid.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade. It's like saying if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. You know what I mean? Like, we're not dumb. It was an...
It's like someone selling a painting of shit being smeared all over a canvas and is like, oh, that worth $1 million. And some rich banker by accident just waltz in and went like, damn, you know what? That can look very fine on my wall. Here, $1 million. It wasn't GDKP, of course. It wasn't like any scheme like that, any transaction that is seemed to be a little bit back-alleyed. No, it was, of course, viable. Everyone knows that.
Internal GDKP between two people. You get what I'm saying. At this point, we just have to start calling out some of this nuances and these stupid things that we realize exist in the community and call for what it is.
Yes.
These GDKPs have really not gone anywhere. The G-Bank totally turns it upside down, and people take advantage of it more than ever. And the economy also gets hit by that as well in terms of the prices on the auction house. Have you ever went on the auction house and then you look at a Primal Mana, for example, or a Primal Life, or whatever primals you're looking at, and you see a couple of them in a stack going for, I don't know, 5K, 6K gold? I wonder what that's going for. It takes a genius, holy shit, to realize what that dude's selling on the auction house. Or maybe for some people, they made an internal error while typing how much gold they really wanted. I'm sure that's what they meant to do, is by put something on accident for somebody to buy something for high value. Right. Now, of course, you could say, well, hey, Jerome did it. He accidentally bought an item for too high. I'm sure he just fulfilled somebody's G2G order by accident. You don't know that. I don't know the truth of it, in fairness. So you could say, oh, you don't know if that's true, and you're absolutely right. But what I'm getting at is the more likeliness of that happening is more than likely a thing, because this is what happens with these type of trade websites. This is what people do with these type of items, even with face-to-face trades. They'll give you these high quality items, and then you have to trade it for them in the window, and then it makes it look like it's a legitimate trade. All these different ways to bend the TOS is what I'm getting at, is a thing that exists currently in the Burning Crusade. And I think the G-Banks right now being a thing in the Burning Crusade is a way that proves that internal GDKPs on Discords still is a thing right now. The internal GDKP trade between the seller and payo is another example of what we're talking about today. This is the type of stuff that we need to really look at from Blizzard's scope and realize that people are going to be doing this more times than often. If we're going to allow it, that's fine. But you do have to realize that your rules, your TOS, gets bent many other ways that you need to start catching on to. And if that's one way for you guys saying that that's completely allowed, then that's going to start happening and evolving in more ways than none. People are going to look at that clip, for example, and they're going to find another way, another alternative route, to just find another way to bend the TOS that's completely not catchable, that's completely unavoidable, untouchable by your hands as the developers. It's really important right now to keep a keen eye on how people move in the Burning Crusade, how gold gets pushed in the economy and out the economy. You have to really pay attention to these things. It really just depends on your guys' effort of wanting to stop this stuff. And if you even care to stop any of it, in fairness, right? I mean, if you just look at that incident and say, you know what, well, that's just one person in raid's allowed to do that. If they just have an item, they can sell their item to whoever they want for an X amount of gold, then fine. Put that on the whited line on your TOS if it's not already there. that a person can just do a face-to-face sale with a ticket item for gold. And if it is there,
Yeah. Reality is you're never getting rid of GDKP ever, no matter what happens. Player will adapt no matter what. I know, and that's why I'm saying, like, Blizzard shouldn't intervene whatsoever. Like, you're so right about this, Rose, but at the same time, it's like Blizzard isn't doing anything good. They're just interfering, and it makes no sense, because players would always find a loophole, and the thing is, it's not really GDKP that matters. It's just a symptom. The disease are bots constantly pushing gold and constantly doing all of that stuff and devaluing everything. That's the major issue. They're completely shattering the economy, and also, like, streamers are, like, probably major culprits, right? Because let's face it, all streamer gold is bought in. It's just like they got it for free, pretty much. They didn't do anything. Everyone just want to be on Mr. Streamer screen for a single second, so they give them like 1k gold and all of that stuff. And most of these people that give them the gold are bots. And again, it's so blatant, and they do it so brazenly, and Blizzard still refuses to ban them. That's the problem. And I'm not gonna call specific streamers. You already know who I'm talking about. There's one streamer in particular that does this 24/7, and Blizzard still do not ban him.
Read it already? Forgive me. That's a lack of knowledge on my part. But if it's not there, please add it, because I need to see that on the fine printed line. This way, going forward, we know what is right and what is wrong. But do know, when you do that, people will find a way to bend that. When you put that white printed line on that TOS post, they will find a way to manipulate even that as well, because people are smart. Your community's not dumb. They know how to bend these rules. It's up to you guys to catch up with the speed of catching on to things as well. Whether you guys are playing the game or you're doing the raids, even as developers or anybody actually playtesting on the TBC side of Blizzard, not the player base, on the Blizzard side, so you guys can catch up to speed with it. And I would hate to see in the future with bad actors ruining the economy from external elements that shouldn't be brought into the game in the first place. Of course, we know this.
Yes.
It's very well aware at this point that it's happening many times in the Burning Crusade. Let's not even talk about the fact that people buy their arena, boost. They buy their 1700 rating, which is insane.
Yep.
Just do 5s. You can get 1700 very easily with a good group of guys in a Discord, or girls, whoever you're playing with, and just play the damn game.
Girls don't play World of Warcraft.
But I'm not going to knock them for it. People are going to
Don't
do
lie
what
to
they
yourself.
want to do at the end of the day. And if Blizzard's not going to knock them for it, why should I? Because why should I as a person care, right? I should only talk about these things to bring light to it and display on a case for you here, Blizzard, that this is the issues that I am seeing in terms of what I feel personally about the TOS. I think it's very important to have human beings, not AI, when it comes to paying attention to these matters at hand, understanding quickly how the community
Wait, there's a girl in my guild who plays it? No, she's a balding man. She lies to you.
evolves around.
It's like,
update.
it's like whenever you see a very, very good-looking female night elf, it's always the sweatiest, balding basement dweller. Always. It's like law of nature. You cannot deny it. You cannot resist it. It's just the truth.
It's your patches, what certain classes can sell.
It's not a girl
sell,
because they tucked it back.
and monitoring G-Banks as well. I know that could be a little spicy
True.
for some people saying, hey, we don't want Blizzard peeping in on us and when it comes to our G-Bank. But I'm telling you guys, the G-Bank gets used for a lot of stuff. And I think a lot of people know this as well when it comes to these internal trades, when it comes to getting gold, when it comes to hosting GDKPs on Discords. It's very weird because you would think all the stuff is gone, but it's not gone.
It went
just
underground.
utilized in another way.
Yeah.
So it just hides in the shadows so Blizzard can't see it. It just rides that safe line of being under the G-Bank, which is a totally legitimate thing in the Burning Crusade that everybody uses with their guild, and then has bad actors behind it, which utilize it from external sources.
I wouldn't really call them bad actors. I mean, they're just playing the game. I wouldn't really call them bad. Like, are they a little bit of an assholes? Like, sure, yeah, but are they bad actors? I don't really know. They're just playing the game the way that, Blizzard won't enforce them in a really cringe fashion. So, I really couldn't blame them. It's honestly all on Blizzard, in my opinion. Like, yeah, players are at fault here, I guess, but, like, who can blame them? They're just playing the game. It's just Blizzard's fault, really, for not fixing it. They need to keep up with what they need to do to actually negate this problem. and they're not doing anything because they doesn't truly care. Blizzard will always opt for the cheapest, quickest, fastest solution out there, right? So that's the real issue. It's not the players, it's Blizzard. Like 99% Blizzard. But yeah, great video. I'm gonna leave a link in the description, guys. You should watch it for yourself. I really like this guy content. He makes some serious bangers. Yeah, make sure to give him a like.